So Twitter, since the election of Donald Trump, has emerged as the voice of many so-called alt accounts, alt, whatever government agency you want to name. And, I don't think this is a coincidence. I think Twitter has long been a forum for anonymous speech. Many people have accounts on Twitter. They don't use their real name. This is a long-standing American tradition, of course. Anonymous speech dates back to at least the era of the founders, when you had people writing political pamphlets under assumed names. There's a history of anonymous speech, and particularly anonymous political speech in the United States. And the courts have certainly recognized that it is an integral part of the First Amendment, the right to speak anonymously. And so, I think the internet enables that in a different and critically important way, which is that people use services such as Twitter and Facebook and speak anonymously. Many of them do so because they have political issues or opinions they want to talk about. Many people speak anonymously these days because they fear reprisals. Let's say you're someone in a repressive country, LGBT youth, for example, in repressive countries or in communities where they are not out and they're afraid to be out, might communicate on the internet anonymously, find community and support. Individuals who have suffered from violence may similarly speak anonymously. So there's a wide range of reasons that people speak anonymously, and the internet has certainly facilitated that. So as I was saying, Twitter is now at the moment hosting many of these alt accounts, and one of these accounts is alt USCIS.
So these should be the alt government accounts, like the alt National Park Service account or the alt EPA account that sort of arose after the election of Trump?
That's right. I think one of the National Park Service accounts might have been one of the first alt accounts, and then since then there's been a proliferation, alt labor, alt USCIS, a variety of accounts which, some of them purport to be an alternate voice from within the government. Some of them are clearly not government employees. Some of them may purport to be former government employees. It's unclear who's behind these accounts, but
essentially, if the official, say, EPA Twitter account is saying one thing, then the alt EPA account is there to sort of provide a counter perspective, whether that's from former employees or just from random people using the name.
Yes, that's right. That's the purpose that they're serving. And the number of followers they have demonstrates that there's a huge public hunger for these voices. They've got tens of thousands of followers, collectively hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. I don't know. But certainly I think people have very much taken to following these accounts. These accounts are providing a critical perspective on what the agencies are doing, a counterbalance to the official voices, the official Twitter feeds of these agencies. So last week, we saw that Twitter went public with the fact that it had received a summons from a Customs and Border Protection officer demanding information that would have allowed the officer to identify the person or people behind the alt USCIS account. Alt USCIS standing for U.S. Customs and Immigration. Sorry. I think it's U.S. citizen. Sorry. Alt USCIS stands for Alt U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And this account was very much dedicated to immigration. So it would tweet out critical perspectives on what CBP was doing, on what the Department of Homeland Security writ large is doing on immigration. And Twitter, which was, Twitter admirably both notified the user that had received this summons for information and went to court. It filed a lawsuit and, essentially argued that it would not comply with the summons because the summons was in violation of the law, including the First Amendment.
Oh, wow.
So it's an example of a tech company and a media platform doing the right thing, because one of the concerns in this realm is that users have no notice when the government seeks their information. So Twitter went to court to defend the right of the USCIS to tweet anonymously without the government seeking information about the account holder's identity. But more importantly, also made a really powerful statement of the importance of anonymous speech for all of its users, and provided a narrative in the complaint that it filed of how many of these alternate government accounts had sprung up since the election, how they were engaged in political speech and criticism of the government, and that if the government could succeed in getting all USCIS's information in this case, where there was no justification provided, that this would have implications for all anonymous speech on Twitter and anonymous speech on the internet writ large. So I should also say at this point, the ACLU stepped in to represent the user as well.